Hey everybody, this is Wendy. I'm here with Ryan on eBay Scavengers. We're together talking about cleaning today. This is episode 30. As you may know, most of the stuff we wind up selling on eBay has to go through a little bit of hand holding. So Ryan and I are going to talk today about how we clean our goods before putting up for sale. And let's say hey to Ryan.
Hey.
So, Ryan, I think when I thought about this subject today, the one thing I thought of was it's so important that you can see an item. And I mean, like, see it clean when you're actually coming upon it and it's filthy.
Yes, you mean visualize it.
Yes.
Yes, and I think also it's really good to, you mentioned this in our outline here, to inspect something and not confuse the dirt for it being like broken or useless.
Right. I have the opposite problem. Well, for one, I can really see through dirt. Mikey, I don't think, can see through dirt as well. But I often make the mistake of not noticing when things are broken.
Right. But the good thing is a majority of the stuff that is dirty or seems dusty or a little bit grimy can really clean up and become something very valuable and interesting.
Yeah. And that's such a rewarding part of this. I don't know about you, but it's immediate gratification. And it's exciting to see something become beautiful.
Yeah, I think like my sister and I, when we were little, we used to like go through my mom's jewelry box and like polish things and clean them and be like, wow, it looks so pretty, like the before and after. Like we were obsessed with stuff like that. So for people like us, it's like,
right,
great. You're like renewing the life of something.
Right. And Mikey and I are also a little OCD. So, I noticed when we were creating an outline for tonight's talk that you spoke a lot about products, which was really exciting to me because I'm not that product oriented. And what I found myself contributing was I'm like a brush fanatic. I like, no matter what it is, whether it's a textile or wood or metal, one of the tools I use on almost everything is I get a brush into the cracks.
Yep. I love using this little, just to talk about tools real quick before we get into specifics about products and everything. Yeah, a brush, like a little shoe brush or a toothbrush. Those are toothbrush. I have toothbrushes under every sink in my house because of that.
Love the toothbrush too.
And then the other thing that you mentioned in the outline, which I am obsessed with, is a metal dental pick.
Yeah, you too.
Oh my God. I have had this thing for a couple years. I got it at a flea market for like $1. It's a stainless steel dental pick where they like pick plaque off your teeth with, right? Invaluable tool. I use it for everything. Like the weirdest thing you could possibly think of, I've used it to clean.
Yep. I have a little like it rolls up like a tool set for bikes. And it's a little dental set. And I have one tool out that I've been using, but I'm tempted to just take the whole dental set out and like use it because, one has a hook on the end, the other is like tiny, the other sharp. But yeah, so these things are great, especially at like scraping in the tiniest spaces.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, admittedly, I want to say, having watched your store for a couple of years, you guys clean stuff way, way, way better than we do.
See, it's funny you say that because there's a lot of stuff that I just don't. I mean, when it comes down to like dust and like general dirt, we're pretty good about that. But if I can't get something clean enough, I'll just show it like that too. That's also part of it. Yeah.
I will too. And very often I leave the cleaning to right before I'm shipping it.
That's interesting. So
I don't feel like I want to clean something that I'm not sure I'm going to sell. So I'll get it clean enough to photograph. But ultimately, I wind up cleaning it to make it really customer ready right before it goes in a box.
Yeah, and sometimes photos can, depending on, your lighting, your camera, whatever, sometimes photos can kind of gloss over some of the dustiness of something. But the camera that we use is like an HD camera, and man, sometimes I'm just like, oh, this is so dusty. Like, I have to clean this before I photograph it, or else it just looks horrible,
Interesting. So I like your organization. We did it by sort of categories.
Yeah.
You want to start off at the top with clothes?
Yeah, so with clothes, we started out selling mostly just clothes. So, for me, I've read other sellers who do like designer clothes, like really fancy people, whatever, and they're like, we dry clean every item. And I'm like, okay, first of all, that's super expensive. I don't know who does that. I cannot afford to dry clean every item. There's no way. But a good rule for clothes, I think, just in general, is if you smell it and it smells musty, but isn't moldy or anything, but it's like been in someone's closet, you want to wash that or put it out in the sun. Or this is something we both mentioned on our list was if it reeks of detergent, like super strong Tide, I cannot deal with clothes like that. Like I need to get that sent out because it's too much.
Yep. I actually buy some clothes on eBay myself, things that are brand specific and overpriced, but that I want. And like, for example, Lululemon yoga tops. They're just unbelievably expensive, so I buy them cheap, used. I'm very happy. My only issue is they reek of laundry detergent.
Yep. I can't stand that either. I mean, I use like unscented, nothing laundry detergent for myself, so.
Right. So, well, let's get into maybe some of the more interesting materials like wool. I'd always heard that wool was self-cleaning, and every time we've had a wool item to sell, even if it stunk like cigarette smoke, which has happened to me many times, I just hang it on the line for like 2 or 3 days, and it smells amazing.
Yep.
And because we had this podcast tonight, I looked it up and learned that one of the reasons wool is self-cleaning is because of lanolin, which is a natural thing that comes from the animal itself. And strangely enough, when it's combined with the ammonia in the animal's urine, it becomes a type of soap. But this has a lasting effect on the fabric, even as you own it. So it actually is true that wool is self-cleaning.
It's interesting that you mentioned ammonia because my mom was saying that she cleans wool blankets with ammonia in her washing machine, and then she does a very low, like no heat dryer. Because the heat, basically the way you ruin wool is wash it in hot water and do a hot dryer. That will shrink wool right away. But if you do a cold wash, and I guess my mom said put a little bit of ammonia in there and then do like a fluff dry with no heat, she said, wool blankets look brand new after that. I've never tried it because we don't have a dryer, and I also never buy ammonia because it's like I don't know what I would ever use ammonia for, but that's a tip from my mom.
That's a great tip. Now, we keep ammonia in the house because we make our own cleaning products, and I'll put a teaspoon of ammonia with vinegar and water into a spray bottle to make a window cleaner, glass cleaner. But it makes sense. So like urine, it's causing the lanolin to make an antibacterial soap.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. I think that's a good tip. Now, you have on here, which is really funny, silk ties.
Yeah. I never even thought to clean a silk tie. If I can't spot clean just the part where, like, the guy at the bar mitzvah drizzled food on himself.
Which is always there.
Right. If I can't spot clean that, I just, like, throw the tie away. So what do you do?
What I do for silk ties or silk scarves, anything just delicate silk, silk shirt, whatever, I put it in a very gentle, like I have hand washable, on the washer. We have a front loader washer, and you just do like a little bit of like unscented detergent, or you might even not want to use detergent at all. And I have cleaned actual like silk ties and like designer crazy silk scarves like that, and it's really amazing. Actually, you're like, oh, you actually can throw it in the washer even though it says not to.
Interesting. Now, you guys taught me how to wash baseball hats, which I was shocked that you can throw them in the machine, but
yep,
it's worked every time, just putting them on the line out back.
Yeah, baseball hats, if you just do, again, anything that's like you're a little wary about, but you think can get washed in the washer, just put it on super delicate and put it in there with a couple other small items or by itself, and it should be fine. And again, like I said, we don't have a dryer just because I was hardcore about not having a dryer, so I wouldn't use it. We just put it out on the line, that sunshine and fresh air will mostly just like get everything out. It really does work.
I found this very same thing, and we're in totally different climates, so that's interesting.
Yeah, it definitely helps with any musty or smoky clothes, smoky shoes. I just throw them out on the porch for, like you said, a couple days, as long as it's not raining out, and there it is,
So speaking of shoes, you guys are like the shoe masters. You sell a lot of shoes.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to hear about your techniques for cleaning them.
So shoes, the main idea for most shoes is, like you said, using a brush. Like brush off any dust or grime, or, on the bottoms of shoes, if there's like caked on stuff, like Jay, we have a sink in our office. So Jay will get like a rag and some water and just scrub the bottom. But I mean, mostly what we use is like, on leather shoes, we use like cream shoe polish, not the hard like stuff in a tin, although we do have that. But the cream polish, if you just like look it up on eBay, like black cream shoe polish, it's awesome. Like it's so easy to just polish shoes. I mean, they look amazing.
So it has color in it.
Yeah, it has color. So you get black, brown, burgundy, neutral. You can even get a neutral, a white, navy blue. I literally have every color of shoe polish. Like I just went online and was like, get every color,
Wow, they have navy blue and white?
Yep, they have navy blue, because sometimes, like, you'll find, like, Ferragamos and they're navy blue, and you need that navy blue polish, And the great thing, I think a lot of people don't realize, like, I have a pair of leather boots that I was actually wearing today, and they're old and they're worn, but I just, like, slap some black polish on the toes, and they look brand new. It's like, it takes me 5 seconds.
I have actually done that with my own stuff, and I know what you're saying. So, something that I encounter fairly often is I'll come across leather and suede goods, and I won't know what product to try. And occasionally I've tried something that just left a big stain, or darkened the entire color, and I thought maybe it'll dry lighter, and then it never did.
Yeah.
So what do you use for suede and leather?
Now, the thing about suede is a lot of times, like, if there's a stain on it or something, I mean, we'll just use a good stiff brush just to, like, clean off any surface dust or, grime. The only thing that I know to use on suede is it's a salt. It like dissolves salt, like as if someone had like walked through some puddles in the winter or something. But it's just vinegar. I think it's just vinegar. It's like colored vinegar that they use. But I mean, for suede, you're just like, there's not very much you can do. People get that stuff professionally cleaned. So if it's too stained, I won't sell it. But if it's, someone might bring it to a cleaner if they really want to, and these are special, then I'll keep them and just show the damage, like, hey, there's a little whatever mark over here.
So because we were talking today, I was just like kind of, looking around to see what are the commercially available products, and some of them you tipped me off to. So I'm curious about, how often do you get into things like saddle soap and mink oil and neat's foot?
Yeah, we use all that stuff like crazy. Like mostly mink oil and neat's foot are kind of a similar thing. Neat's foot oil, it's NEETS, neat's foot. And these are all, I'm pretty sure these are all like animal products. So if you're vegan, this is all like not cool.
Yeah. So on that, before you go on, I just, because you tipped me off to it, I did a little research. So neat's foot oil is actually made with real pig and cattle feet and hoofs. Mm-hmm. And then mink oil is made from mink fat.
Yep, it actually is, which is kind of creepy.
Yep. I mean, on one hand, it's like if you're going to use an animal, use all of it, right? So it's like, okay. But on the other hand, yeah, it's totally creepy.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. But, I mean, I definitely use that stuff for sure. I'm not vegan or anything, so. But one of the products we use a lot, like I have a big tub of it, is saddle soap. And what saddle soap is, and I learned this from my mom because she actually used to ride horses when she was little. Saddle soap is what it says it is. It's used to clean leather. It's mostly like I don't know how to describe it because I'm not a leather expert, but it's like a hard leather, not like a soft, like you said, suede or something like that. It's like a leather that has a polish to it. You can use it to clean dirt and get grime off, but it also conditions the leather. So it softens the leather in a neutral, it's like a no color, so you can use it on any color leather. So I've used that on handbags, belts. You know, if a belt is looking kind of dry, you just throw some saddle soap on there and it's like ready to go.
So I think I get what you mean. You know, I come across down here in New Mexico a lot of like calf skin. That would be too delicate for this. You're talking about tougher things, as you say, like a saddle and a belt.
Right, yeah, like a tougher leather. Some of those delicate leathers, like you're saying calf skin or deer skin, like there's not very much that you can do with those that I'm aware of, you know, like because it's such a porous leather. You know, you're going to stain it if you put an oil on it, unless that's what it's supposed to look like, but usually it's not.
So one thing, before I knew about saddle soap, I just want to add that I had just taken Murphy's oil soap, which is really a wood soap that I keep in the house for cleaning, and I've gotten some good results out of that as an alternative, although since you told me about saddle soap, now I use that.
So let's talk about electronics. Like you guys actually taught me a lot about cleaning electronics when you guys started.
Okay. So yeah, we buy a lot of electronics because Mikey's geeky and he has a good eye for it. And I think probably one of the most important tools there is an air compressor. So we do a lot of blowing out. And that just gets like mesh, like speaker mesh, where there might be plastic mesh and then fabric. It gets all that clean. It gets into crevices. You do have to be careful you don't like whack out some wires and knock some things out of place. But air is very, very helpful.
Yeah, it's like a can of air, right? You can buy it at like, you know, electronics store or like Walmart or something.
Because we do some building, we have, actual compressors. But yeah, you can buy canned air as well. Perfect.
And also something I think you guys taught me was just to use rubbing alcohol.
Yeah. For me, that works sometimes. And sometimes I got to go to the X-Acto knife to get off things like Sharpie writing.
Yeah, I've had success with rubbing alcohol, taking Sharpie off metal and plastic. So, like, I really just, like, rub for, like, 5 minutes to get... Yeah. I love it when thrift stores, like, write with a Sharpie the price of something on, you know, the top of a stereo. You're like, thanks.
I don't know why they think that's okay for anyone.
I don't know. Side note, I bought 2 vintage clocks. And the owner of the store had written the price right on the face of the clocks.
Wow.
Like, what are you thinking? That's crazy.
Well, 2 products that I have to say for electronics and for the bottom of shoes, for a lot of things, that changed my life were Goo Gone and Goo Off. And you told me about both of them. And then my only, bummer about them both is they are so unbelievably toxic.
Now, is Goo Gone, so let me just explain the difference to people who don't know. Goo Gone is like this kind of orange oil. It smells orangey and it's water soluble, like you can just wash it off. Goof Off is kind of like acetone, like paint stripper. So it's like super hardcore.
Right. So both, in my research anyway, have a MSDS. So that, let me see if I could find what that means. I might have lost it. It's an acronym for a type of report that certain products have to have to show it's material safety data sheet, to show their toxicity and limitations. Anyway, those rank pretty high. And one of the things that you come across sometimes with these kinds of cleaning products, especially solvents, which is Goof Off, it's more of the solvent.
Yeah.
It's that they accumulate in the body and never go away. So every time you encounter a toxin like it just adds on to what's already in your body, and it increases and increases. And, each of us has a different threshold before we get sick. So I just want to point out, those 2 suck, even though they're really, really good at what they do.
And you have listed an alternative for taking off gooey stuff.
I have. Now, I haven't tried this alternative, but I did find it online. I'm going to try it, and it's just equal parts coconut oil and baking soda. We can give it a try.
Now that's a good lead into cleaning like cookware and dishes, like using baking soda like is amazing with a green scrubby, those Scotch brand scrubbies and baking soda, because the scrubby is, like abrasive, but also baking soda is abrasive. So those two combined are a great combination for a lot of like, stainless steel cookware or copper cookware.
Right. Yeah, that's a great thing. Now, you had a product you listed that I got excited about called Cameo,
Yes.
which people are going crazy about, that you're using for stainless and for copper. So apparently it looks pretty clean on toxicity. Like, it's not great for you, but it's not terrible. And I'm just so impressed by it. So are you? Like, you use it. I'm just considering using it.
Yeah, I don't know what the toxicity is on that, because it does not feel as natural as baking soda. But, if you throw it on copper, like what I use it on is the bottom of Revereware stainless steel copper clad, like the copper clad is on the bottom. I scrub the copper part with Cameo, and it's like a copper cleaner, like the copper will come clear.
Right.
But the problem with Cameo is I can't find it anywhere. I had to buy it for like $7 a jar on eBay. So that seemed a little bit crazy. It was like,
I just bought it today because of your recommendation. I actually found it on Amazon, but it was like $9.
Yeah, what the hell?
So I just found their MSDS, and they do have some stuff about, inhaling and through the skin and in the eye and all this. But the thing I look for is, does it store in your body? It's that thing of, do you hold on to it and keep adding to it? And it does not.
Well, that's good. That is good. I mean, the alternative is, like we're saying, is baking soda, because you want something that's abrasive. The other thing that I've cleaned copper with, and this is extreme, you can boil copper in vinegar and salt, and it will clean the crap out of copper.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Why not? That sounds really good.
Yeah, you can do that. It stinks up your kitchen. I mean, you walk in and your eyes start burning because the boiling vinegar.
From the vinegar.
Yeah, just vinegary. But it's not toxic. I mean, it's more natural, so that's a bit nicer.
So speaking of natural, I was really surprised to learn today that borax is sort of natural.
Yeah.
So it's a compound, a mineral, and it's a salt in the category of boric acid. So I never considered that before, but it is sort of natural.
Yeah, and you can buy borax. It's actually borax is the brand name, and you can buy it like at the grocery store in the laundry detergent section, because a lot of people use it as like an additive to laundry. And that's a good cleaner as well for some hardcore, cleaning.
So, I have to take this moment to totally diss Walmart, and let me tell you why. So, baking soda, right? It should be something that you can buy in mass. It's a very common thing. It should be everywhere. It should definitely be in the aisle for cleaning. And the thing about it is, it's kind of smart. We learn how to mix it with things and use it. We become the chemist. But Walmart likes to sell like preconceived brands and products where you don't know anything and there's a list of ingredients. Someone else was the chemist. So if you go to Walmart, you will not find baking soda. They'll hide it in like the strangest place and sell you the tiniest amount.
Yeah, they do that. I've been able to find a big tub of it at Costco. I don't have a Costco membership anymore, but the last time I did, I bought like this massive like tub of baking soda.
Yeah. Anyway, Walmart sucks. Okay, we can move on.
Yeah.
So metals. You want to get into some metals?
Yeah, so metals kind of related to this. Like if you find silver, now this kind of goes into something that we were talking about before, where sometimes you want to keep things unclean. Like some people like the way silver looks tarnished for certain items.
Right.
Sometimes people want the original patina of something. For me, I love polishing metal. it makes me feel like it's brand new again. So silver polish, I've just used like the stuff that you buy at the store and it's in a jar. But there are some alternatives, like you listed some alternatives for polishing silver.
Yeah, I'm going to try this. I've never done it, but it sounds like it would work, which is toothpaste.
Yes, I've used that.
Yeah. So again, baking soda comes up, baking soda and salt with a tiny bit of water or vinegar just to get it to be like a paste. But I'm going to try all these things. The one commercial product that seems to dominate is Brasso, and I did find that, again, it's on that really terrible list, so I'm going to try to avoid.
Yeah, I use Brasso on really hardcore stuff, but the bad thing is when you get something like Brasso on your skin starts burning, and that's a really bad sign. I wear gloves when I use it. Yeah. But if you accidentally like splash it on your arm, you're like, oh.
Yeah, that's how you know, not good.
That's a good sign.
Luckily, the category of wood offers some very nice, kind, non-toxic, wonderful products.
Yes. So wood, I like to use like if you look on Amazon or eBay for just a lemon beeswax furniture oil, a lot of different little companies make it. Or there's like a Murphy's lemon oil that you can buy for wood. I use that on everything. Like it makes wood, wood cutting boards. I used it on a wood radio, like a vintage wood radio yesterday. I mean, it brings the wood back to life. It's beautiful.
That's awesome. So now will that clean it? Because I sometimes use linseed oil, but it doesn't clean it. It only kind of polishes it.
I mean, what I usually do with any wood that needs cleaning is I will do just like soap and water, let it dry, and then I oil it.
It's amazing. Like wood just wants moisture so badly, especially in my dry climate, that if I don't have anything else around, I'll just take olive oil, and it's just as good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll use that furniture oil if I have a piece of plastic that looks really worn out or dry. I'll also use some of that like beeswax oil on the plastic. Handles on old Revere ware, like a lot of times the plastic handles, people will have put them in a dishwasher and they look horrible and they're all faded, and you just throw some of that beeswax oil and it just looks brand new.
Funny that you say that, because I've done the same with olive oil, just intuitively.
Yeah. It's like something just needs moisture, so you get that oil in there, and it comes to life.
So, for me, in the end, one of the things I do more than anything else is I very often write in my ads, with vintage items, I leave major cleaning to the customer because I don't want to damage something that's important to them. And that's it. I just dismiss myself from the whole cleaning thing.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to do. That's kind of what I do with a lot of clothes too, is, if they need some cleaning, I'll throw them in the washer. But mostly I'll just like put stuff out in the sun if they need it. But a lot of times, yeah, it's just like, this is the way it is. And I think a lot of people will clean stuff when they get it home anyway. They're going to either dry clean it or throw it in the wash themselves.
Yeah, at the end of the day, what we're doing is a lot like when you sell a used car. It's like the cleanest it's ever going to be on that day.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like everyone agrees that's the way it should be.
Right. And I also think it's a really good thing to really research the item itself and see if people want it the way it is. Like we had an old trunk, and I was thinking, I'm going to clean off all the grime and like take all the old paint off it and stuff. And I found out that's just not the thing to do. People want it in the original condition. So, it sells for a lot more in that condition. So it just depends. So, basically just go with your gut on cleaning things and try to use the most natural things possible so it's not toxic, and keep it clean.
Keep it clean. Make it look good and make a bunch of money.
All right. Thanks, Wendy.
Thanks, Brian. Nice chatting with you.
Bye.